Hi there. Welcome to Scholar Hour. I am specialist. I've been doing taxes for nearly 10 years. And one of the things that my clients always bring up is when we do their taxes, and we're talking, because obviously we have a very good relationship, and we're talking about school and college and how you pay for it and how it affects so many things in your finances. That's really what drove me to see what we can do as a college funding specialist to make sure that our kids are getting everything that's due to them, and that comes in so many different ways to make sure that it happens. And so at Scholar Hour here, I wanted to say, what if I told you that most families you're walking away from thousands of dollars that's basically free money. And it's not because how to get it, it's mainly because you don't know how it's there and what are the best ways to get it. And once you learn it, then it's like, okay, you show up to Scholar Hour every day, 5:30. Whether if you've met with me before, then you already have the 3-2-1 method. You already have your 3 local scholarships. You already have your 2 regional scholarships, and you have your 1 national scholarship that you are applying for every day. And you use Saturday as your test prep day. And the way that we do test prep is very different because it allows our students to truly have an understanding of the world from their perspective. When I say their perspective, I really mean our cultural perspective, and that is the norm for the learning. So I know I'm saying a lot here. So if you feel overwhelmed by scholarships, or you're confused by FAFSA, or you're frustrated because you feel like, oh my gosh, my child is doing everything that they can do. I being you as a parent, am doing everything that I can do, and I still don't know what's what. Don't worry. This is why we're here, and this is why college, okay? So it's really here to show you what is needed for you to truly get what you are looking for. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go through some elements. The first thing that I want to bring up is the college dashboard, college scholarship dashboard. If you don't have this, Instagram, DM me at College Village, DM College Village, the word toolkit, TOOLKIT, toolkit. And that way you'll get this dashboard, and it's super straightforward. It makes Scholar Hour that much essay template that we use. And in fact, I'm going to show you how to use it today when we have a preset of questions that they want us to answer. I'm going to show you how you can still apply the template to answer those questions, because the biggest part about doing anything consistently, but especially scholarships, is that you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to go and apply for them again. Here I go again. And in reality, if you have a template, you're like, okay, it's 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let me just sit down at my table, at my desk, on my bed, wherever you fill out your information, wherever you have your laptop, and you start applying. Okay, so if you've already met with me, we just talked about, you decide whether you are ready to do the scholarship that we're focusing on today at Scholar Hour, or if you're going to do one of the scholarships that we've already set aside, meaning like a scholarship that we already reviewed, and you decide, okay, these are my list of scholarships. And then if you don't know what scholarship to apply for, like, do I do the one that Moya is doing today? Do I do the one that we already talked about? You would do the scholarship predictor calculator, and you would just put in information that would allow you to know, okay, this is this is my increased chance getting this scholarship. So I'm going to do a scholarship that we have already set aside, and you decide that, okay, that's the one that you're going to do, and that's the one that you're going to focus on. So this is the calculator here. Okay, you're coming up with your answer, and it's less quickly, and then you click submit, and you get your percentage of whether or not on for that time frame. Okay, so the college dashboard, to make sure that you have an understanding of what is needed to simply sit down, easily sit down, where you can create a new scholarship every day, and it's just a habit that you are forming with ease. Okay, that's what we're doing during Scholar Hour. So let's go ahead and open up our scholarship essay template. Okay, once again, you can always go to College Village and DM me the word toolkit so you can get this toolkit, and you can easily do this, because the whole idea is you filling out this scholarship and have everything done in 1 hour. Okay, we don't want you spending tons of time on this, because once you start spending more time, what we realize with our kids is that they start dragging their feet and they start becoming more reluctant, and then doing a scholarship, 6 scholarships a week, then it goes to 3 scholarships, goes to 2 scholarships, and then 1 scholarship, and then you're just skipping weeks, and then you realize that, I haven't applied to that many scholarships. And one of the things that I always talk about, and why scholarships is so important, is that this is the one time in life that your child will have the ability to get free money available to them for their endeavors. And so during this period, you want to make sure that, one, you're getting as much free money as you can, while also knowing the importance of staying on top of a routine that helps you develop into what you want to do. Here at College Village, and working with me directly, we're about wealth development. Okay, and you're using this money. This is something we'd have to talk about over the phone. We figure out your goals and what you want to do. And this is for you and your child, like your household and your child, household all together. Okay, so whatever makes up the household, that's what we're talking about. So that way we can make sure that we're breaking down, how do we capitalize on this rare opportunity before they're ushered out into the real world, right? Because as parents, we know what the real world means. And how do we set them up with a foundation? Like, this is that moment that if you ever thought about closing the wealth gap, you're thinking at this moment, what is it that I can do? The thing that you can do if your child's in 9th grade up until 12th grade. And remember, you can still apply for scholarships in college. So you still have 4 years. And to get them to apply that way. And so it's a whole process here at College Village, because even though I said 4 years, most people now are matriculating, which is graduating, within 5 to 6 years. But you have to stop and think about, remember, everything is about wealth development. When we say wealth development, it's not necessarily the same thing as wealth accumulation, meaning like everyone's just focused on money, 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 money. No, wealth development is about, how do you take the time to cultivate, to earn wealth, so therefore money is no longer an issue. You're no longer worried about money because you've taken these 4 to 8 years. Remember, 4 years if they're high school 9th graders, and another 4 years from a college freshman to, graduating college seniors, to truly developing the development of them. So that way money is no longer an issue. They just get to live their life, and they have the ups and downs that life would have with anybody, but money isn't that issue. So there's many steps that we go through, whether that's real estate, whether that's life insurance. What are some of these fundamental areas? Also, because I do taxes, so definitely assisting them to make sure, assisting them and you, everybody in the household, talking about wealth development for the family, to make sure that everything is in place so that by the time that they're done, they have a life that they're accustomed to, that they've developed. And so everything is planned out and it doesn't have to go as planned, but it's much better to have an idea of a plan than just kind of saying, I'm going to wing it. Because winging it can get you into school for an additional 2 years. And that additional 2 years that you're winging it can really set you back in terms of truly developing what you need to develop. Unless sometimes you're like, I think this is the best step. Okay. So now, before we go there, let's talk about this scholarship for today. Today's scholarship about confident writers is actually a very unique scholarship because one of the things is confident writers is actually a business. It's just like earlier this week, we've done many different types of scholarships. One, we've done, I was going to say something else, but then I was just like, okay, we've done like CVS. Your CSV is like your resume. We've done CVS. We've done Minecraft. And one of the things that's always important that I'm looking to see is what's the angle from their perspective, right? Minecraft, when we went through that scholarship, that was about basically how do they market to parents and teachers using words that it's almost like conducting market research, and then you're paying them through a scholarship, right? To give them insight on how Minecraft can be used as an educational tool, okay? The CVS is really, or even the Michael Moody scholarship about fitness, is really about getting more people in that industry, okay? Confident writers, one, they're making sure that you're aware of their service. So they have that part there. And on top of that, that's the biggest thing. So when we're going through this, we're going to be reading to see how they're writing, because when you read their information that they put here, you're going to see that they use very colorful, descriptive language that gets you engaged. Because I always tell my students is that you have to know, or you have to put it in your mind that your essay is essay number 50. Okay. This is essay number 50 that your reviewer is reading. And they're most likely tired. Okay. They're tired. So if they're tired, you have to go in there and give them a reason to say why your essay for the scholarship needs to be chosen. Okay. So it starts with who wants to win some money, right? Who wants to win some money? What would you do with $700? Are you the next George R.R. Martin or J.K. Rowling? Put your skills to the test and you could win big. Okay, so this sounds definitely very much so like a confident writer as what they're discussing because of their name. So Confident Writers is calling all students to show their literary genius, get published, and win big. So this is the second time we've heard win big, by the way. So your opportunity to win a cash scholarship is here, reading and waiting for you. Have no fear. Put away your doubts because you don't have to be an advanced writer to qualify. Grab your computer and let your imagination run wild on those pages. This is your chance to make your best of you. So that's the second time I've heard imagination. So one of the things is you probably want to, you're going to need to get a piece of paper and a pen no matter what, because that's what's needed for the template. Because as we go through this, it's a template that you're an outline that you're going to be emailed, and you're just going to fill in the information that you see. Okay. But one of the things when I'm reading a scholarship prompt, I'm looking for what they're saying. Like, what are they saying? Because that's what's important to win. To them to win. That's what's important for them to win. Because you already know, my mind is already thinking like win, as they said twice. So I would definitely write down the word win big. That's a phrase because it's more than one word. I would write down win big. Now to write down imagination, because they said it twice. So the scholarship is due August 9th, and they show you how to submit, and they have very specific instructions. So when it's time to submit, and I'm going to show you, stay to the end, I'll show you how you can get this edited for you without a problem. So as long as you dedicate your 1 hour to writing your scholarship, once you're done, you can get it edited. Okay, so the scholarship length is between 500 to 700 words. Okay, who are the reviewers of the scholarship essay? This is important to know. An experienced group of English teachers and editors will review and judge the essay submissions. Prior to submission for your review, your name will be redacted. That means it'll be covered or removed to allow them to review the scholarship essay anonymously, thus ensuring an impartial and just review for all entries. Okay, so that one's important to know, but I like the fact that they're English teachers. Okay, so English teachers lets me know a couple of things. They're probably going to be reading this very, very quickly because they read for a living. Okay, they're going to be reading this very, very quickly. So they're going to know fairly quickly if you're going to be the essay that they go to bat for in the committee. I want you to think of it like this. Most scholarships, there's a group, right? This one's a group of English teachers. There's a group of people that are interested. We also did a scholarship where it was about people with multiple sclerosis, and it was a family scholarship. So they had people from the family on the group committee reviewing the scholarships. So you just need to know what this group is, so that way it gives you an idea of how to write. Okay, so if it's English teachers, I know that they're going to be reading fairly quickly, and they're going to be knowing what they're looking for, and they're probably going to be a stickler for grammatical errors. Okay, so those are the things that you want to be mindful of. The money that they're doing is first place $700, second place $500, third place $300. It's always good to know that they have multiple awards available. Okay, so this one's also a very good one. Confident Writer Scholarship Contest representative will notify the top 3 winners via email August 17th. So this is a very quick turnaround, which is beautiful. This is great. And then they go over the formatting of how they want it formatted up here. So before you hand in your scholarship, please, please, please double check the formatting. Okay. And then I want you to definitely, I'm going to read this line because it says, are you drowning in anticipation as yet? Do you want to hear what the topics are? Here they are. So this is letting me know that they love to use different descriptive words. Okay. Are you drowning in anticipation yet? So that means when you're writing, this is an element that they're also going to be looking at. Okay. And remember, they've already said they're not looking for necessary like advanced writers. It's just you breaking down your opinion on these topics. Topic 1, artificial intelligence in everyday life, benefits and challenges. Topic 2, the impact of volunteer work on community and personal growth. Topic 3, the role of family support in academic success. All submissions are winners, as it takes courage and great talent to write these essays. Regardless of the end result, all writers are commended for their efforts. So we encourage you to be fearless and have fun with your scholarship essay. Good luck to you all. The one thing that I wanted to double check here Okay, as you are excited, the fun is about to start. Here are a list of tantalizing topics for you to review. Choose your favorite and make sure you include the topic number along with your name and email address at the top of your essay. For example, make sure you format make sure you submit in the below format. Okay. So when it comes to this, one of the things that I want you to really remember is, what do you actually have an opinion on? Mind you, before this moment, when you reviewed these three topics, you possibly had no opinion on any of this, right? You're just like, okay. But I want you to think, what would be the most interesting opinion you can have, right? Artificial intelligence in everyday life, benefits and challenges. Meaning, like, have you had an experience with artificial intelligence around health or around your studies, where you might use AI to remind you of different paperwork, homework assignments that you have missed? Like, have you driven in a Waymo car where there's a driveless driver and it gets you from point A to B? Like, does it feel like you already live in, like, many of you are pretty young, but the Jetsons, the only thing we don't have yet are flying cars. But outside of that, like, is that how you feel when you think of AI and the benefits and challenges? And if you have, and because they listed both, to some extent, they want to hear both. Okay. So the next one, the impact of volunteer work on community and personal growth. What does that look like for you? So we're talking about impact of volunteer work on community and your own personal growth. So this would be a great essay if you've dedicated a large part of your journey so far, of what you've experienced in life, around volunteering. And then you highlighting that impact. The thing that they're going to want to look for here are stories and examples. Remember, you only have 500 to 700 words. So it's not like a whole lot of information in time, but it is enough that you can really get into a story or two. And as we go through the template, you're going to need this story to guide you. So I always bring this up in terms of a through line, a through line, a through line in your personal statement, a through line in your scholarship essay, and most importantly, a through line in what it is that you want to do. So it's not necessarily about taking tons of classes. For example, both of my sons so far have taken Korean. When I first heard that they were taking Korean, I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do with Korean? Okay. Like, do I switch you out? Like, what does that look like? We live in Southern California. Like, do you need to be learning Spanish? Like, what is this? But then as I thought about it, and I'm looking at some of the big businesses and power moves that are happening globally, then I'm looking at Korean like, okay, this actually may be a good play, because they're making a lot of investments and development into Black culture, because a K-pop group has bought, not like a group, like a band, but like as an industry. One of the businesses, organizations, has bought I think they paid almost 900 million for R&B catalog, for music catalog of mostly R&B pop songs. So that means they can basically remake these songs, and to gain not only popularity, but also entrance back into the US. Because I don't want to get so off track here, but one of the major ways that you get back into, one of the major ways that you can grow is through, if you're a media company, is through Black culture. Just because it's a easy market to tap into, because for the most part, as of right now, it's still one of the most homogeneous markets, meaning like it's the market that's most similar. So that way you can tap into it, and money comes out on the other end. Okay, that I said a lot. So eventually, when you do Scholar Hour, just like you've been here for some time with me, you're already typing. You're already filling out your essay template, by the way. Like, you use Scholar Hour as something for your brain to say, it is 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let me fill out my scholarship for the day. Up, Ms. Moya is done. okay, let me send her my scholarship so she can review and edit it and get it back to me so that way I can submit it. Like that's what you eventually use Scholar Hour for. But sometimes I do go off. I do. It's very important, you guys. You guys have to know that in this journey there has to be a cohesive story that's relevant that you can easily pull from. And so the third one is the role of family support in academic success. So this one for sure, you guys will have something to say because your parents brought you here to do some sort of scholarship. So that way you have something to say here. All right. So decide which topic you're going to do. I suggest you write it down. I do. Because as you're filling out the outline and the template that you're putting together, you're going to want to always reference it to making sure that as we go through it, you're on topic. Okay? When you're doing this essay, the other thing is also you knowing that it's an outline. And so you're going to have to go back, especially for this particular essay, just because it is a writing essay, is you're going to go back into it and you're going to be looking for descriptive words. Okay? Words that you can change to further highlight and describe what you want to convey in a way that gets them being the reviewers, to understand. Because, of course, you remember I say this every time, you are your essay number 50. Okay? And I only say that to highlight is the coach tired. They're tired and they know to come to a claim as possible to choose your essay. So let's start here with the introduction. This is the meat and potatoes of what we're doing here. So emotional appeal. So these are categories we want the writers, you're the writer, we want the Confident Writers panel of reviewers to feel. This is what we're guiding them through this process, okay? So we have emotional appeal, hands-on experience, skill development, leadership example, community focus, connection to future goals. So it really depends on which one you chose. So if I chose the one about family, I might want to start with emotional appeal. If I chose the one about AI, I might want to talk about skill development or hands-on experience. Okay? What was the middle one? Okay, the impact of volunteer work. So volunteer work, I could talk about community focus, leadership, and or connection to the future. Okay, so on your paper, you're going to write down number 1. And look at the templates that we're going to start from. And the good thing is you all are not picking the same thing. So that's part number 1. Number 2, you're probably going to change different areas of it. So that way it speaks more to you. So I don't want you to be super concerned about, oh my gosh, aren't we all going to pick the same sentences? No, because so this is community focus. Let's go back for a moment. Instead of community focus, I chose leadership. These are a different set of sentences. Okay, a different set for anything that you choose. So the likelihood of the level of variations in this is quite a bit. So you picking the same one is going to be highly unlikely. So I don't want you to so much think of it that way. Remember, this is an outline, so you're not starting from scratch when you're writing your essay for your scholarship. And what we're focusing on is getting out a scholarship 6 days a week. And this helps you do that because you have a broader goal of developing wealth for your family. So we want to get this part down so it's just coming out rapid fire. And then once you truly understand your through line of what it is that you're highlighting, then you're going to know. So this is the one I chose. Entering the auditorium, it was a moment to, and then I would say what that moment was to me based upon what it is that you selected. Okay. Background. So we have emotional appeal, hands-on experience, skill development, leadership example, community focus, connection to future goals. Say I want to talk about skill development. Okay, because the one that I'm focusing on is volunteer work for the community. So growing up in a tight-knit family, I learned blank, a tight-knit family, and you might edit that one, learning the importance of resilience, hard work, and perseverance from a young age. I realized, and I might say, if I'm, mind you, this is number 2, I might say, learning the importance of resilience, hard work, and perseverance from a young age is largely due to the volunteer work that I've always did growing up. And I might even say more, right? So volunteer work I did growing up in and around the Salvation Army. The next one is the leadership example. Here we are at work ethic. I think my computer has a lag in it. Like, I feel like that's what's happening right now. It's like I'll click it and it's like opening later. Like, oh my gosh, come on. So then we have emotional appeal, hands-on experience, skill development, leadership example, community focus, and connection to future goals. Let's say I want to talk about connection to future goals when we're highlighting the work ethic that I am bringing forth. Okay, so this would, when you're writing it down, number 3. So this one has a lot more options here. To prepare for college, I'm focused on enhancing my, one thing that sets me apart academically is I have learned that consistency is key when it comes to my commitment to my studies is evident through, when it comes to my academic goals, my work ethic drives me. I have realized the importance of maintaining a strong work ethic in order to. Let's say I chose that one, right? But this one could be a multitude of examples for you that you can select. Okay. The good thing is that the templates, the sentences are very strong. So it is along the line of what they're looking for. Here, I just want you to jot down an idea, a time frame, something that lets you know, like, okay, I want to expand upon this, or just quickly jot down what this means to you. So I've realized the importance of maintaining a strong work ethic in order to make a difference when doing volunteer work for the community. Otherwise, it's going to be read as inauthentic and it's not going to be perceived in a healthy manner for them or for me. Number 4, role model. What is it that you want to talk about here? Emotional appeal, hands-on experience, skill development, leadership example, connection to future goals. I might say skill development here. Remember, choose something that's going to further highlight the point that you want to make. So role model, skill development. So through our encouragement and belief in me, my mentors have empowered me too. I have developed essential skills and qualities. I aspire to emulate the qualities of my mentors, such as reflecting on my growth, I owe much of my success to the guidance of. That's what you're highlighting here. Okay, what does that look like for you? So I have developed essential skills. Let's say I select that one. And then I'm going to talk about the essential skills that I've developed through my volunteer work and the essential skills that I've seen the benefactors, the people that I'm volunteering for, the skills that they developed or the qualities that they developed. I remember growing up, every Monday we used to go to the Salvation Army and hand out food, and everybody, like the people coming up to the line, they were always so nice. They were always so kind. They would always say, "Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys here. Oh wow, I'm so grateful that you are here to help us." Like it feels like in that moment, granted, it helped that we were high school students, but it allowed them to not feel like they were judged because these were kids that were feeding them and we were just happy to be feeding them and doing this activity. So I feel like it was a win-win for both of them because they didn't have to feel the shame of their situation, and they can think about the level of gratitude that they had, that people would leave their home and their studies to come and feed them. So, and at this stage, I don't want you so much thinking about your grammatical corrections, like this topic sentence, does this help? I want you to think more so about getting out your ideas. Okay. For me to 4 or 5. I got to start keeping track of these on my own in terms of what these are. So we have the same thing here: emotional appeal, hands-on experience, skill development, leadership example, community focus, connection to future goals. What area are you pulling from? Okay, so let's say it's community focus, right? You're saying on some level, this leads to your career what does that look like for you? So I'm reflecting on my future career I'm excited about. I'm passionate about the idea of contributing to society through. When thinking about my future career, I'm inspired by and envisioning my future career. I see myself. My career goals are driven by my passion for. My career aspirations are guided by my interest in. What is it that you see? Like, how can you build the connection from, if it's AI, in terms of the positions that you're taking, in terms of the benefits and the challenges, how does that link with your future plans or the ideas of contributing through society? What does that look like? You would put it there. Okay, and then the conclusion: emotional appeal, hands-on experience, skill development, leadership examples, community focus, connection to your future goals. I want that to be, usually when we're closing with a conclusion, it has a level of emotional appeal. It can be anything, by the way. It can be absolutely anything. Like if you sometimes a connection to future goals can be a strong conclusion as well. Based upon how you want the reviewer to, how you want them to perceive your essay, but more importantly, what you want them to take away from your essay. So you can change this to whatever you want. I definitely suggest you use some sort of concluding phrase or word, so that way the reviewer in their mind, they know it's time to wrap up. Okay, they're going to know it's time for me to wrap up. This is the end of what it is that they're doing. So in wrapping up, I'm inspired by. In concluding, I'm looking forward to. As I finish this chapter, I'm inspired by. As I come to the end of my reflections, I'm encouraged by. As I conclude my thoughts, I'm optimistic about. What is it that you want it to do? How do you want that to be perceived? Okay, so for example, if we're doing the academic success topic, how do I link in everything that I discuss around academic success and my family to closing out strong? Like, is there a story? Did you start with a story? So if you started with a story, let's put a button on that story at the end here. What can we further highlight about that story? You're going to put that here. So once you click submit, you go to your email and you're going to check on it. You may have already opened it. You're probably going to get 2 emails that are sent to you and with your doc information in there. And you're going to just open it. And then we're going to take a moment to clean it up some. Okay. I clean it up so that way you're able to see your essay, your template a lot easier. And then you'll take your time to just write the ideas that you had. Okay? You're going to write the ideas that you had as you were going through this. And then that's how you're going to complete it within the hour. So first you're just going to then you're going to start putting your ideas with what you wrote. And then sure, it's all connected. And I think I have taking so long. I ate orange. When I ate the orange, there's something in my teeth. And it's been bothering me the entire time. Like there's something in my teeth and it's annoying me that I'm not able to get it out. So anything with the dash that you're going to keep. Okay. If it was one of the headers such as community focus, emotional appeal, hands-on experience, leadership example, connection to future goals, anything you are going to delete because it's outline. So you're going to just, and this is meant to ideas. Essay not acting. And so that way 6 essays a week. Success is to you to earn at least 5,000 and 10,000 a month from your scholarship. Okay, our goal is to develop a 6-figure financial package when we talk about wealth and we talk about the unique opportunity, knowing that one of the things that prevents us from completing training schools is not enough. Then we take this time to do it. And so if you're applying for 6 days a week, remember, ideally, if you met with me, our 3-2-1 method is 3 local scholarships. I just want to make sure everything. 2 regional scholarships and 1. The reason why we have 3 local scholarships is because the competition is usually far less, and it's more different aspects of who you are. And so, and we dare say your through line, a lot better. Okay, so the things I can say, hey, why don't you bring in this story? How come you didn't mention this here? I think this would be a good opportunity to talk about or vice versa. Let's say you have practice and 5:30 is the earliest. Now been edited. Okay, do you see how that works there? Because we want everything into a system that allows us to apply for scholarships. A month here is wealth development. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about legacy over loans. How do you build a loans? You're really digging in, tapping against legacy that you're building, because you're going to be starting even further back. You have to start paying for those loans. But if you would have planned ahead of time and put in some village, that way you can much closer to reach. Definitely a family affair, especially when we talk about FAFSA, when we talk that up.